Let's take a look at another unusual master lock. I have never seen one of these before. This was sent in by MF. He's been working down in Port-au-Prince. He found a couple of weird locks weird master locks inside of a local hardware store. He gave us a model 1913, which was a dimple lock, but this is no dimple lock. This is Master Lock's idea of what a cross lock ought to look like. Now, this is quite unusual. Normally cross locks, it looks like a plus sign. All the legs are of equal length, and there's a couple of advantages to that. When each of the legs is an equal length, and we try to tension it. Let me find a tensioner here. Slide this dude right in here. Notice if it was a plus sign, all the legs are the same, my tensioner is going to block all the pins on that bank, on that row. So I've got to pick these three. Then I've got to get another tensioner. I've got to move him to another one of the banks, slide him in there, if I can do this without dropping too much, and then pick that one and then these two, and then constantly switch out my tensioner. Well, Master Lock was very considerate. They just extended this on down. I don't know if they were trying to appeal to religious sales, but that extended leg on the cross makes our life a lot easier, because now we take our tensioner, if this is the right size, I slide him right in the bottom. Now you notice I can pick all four banks. There's plenty of room to work in the middle, and I can keep my tensioner there for the entire pick job. Never have to move him. Thank you, Master Lock. That is so cool. All right. Each of the banks has 4 pins. So this is like 4 number 3s, all stacked side by side. And the key also has a little notch on it. Now, I've already said it kind of looks like a cross, like a holy cross with that extended leg on it. So this would be a holy lock. There's a hole to represent the holy part. Orient your notch with that hole. And again, this is weird, but the banks are offset 45 degrees. So if you orient that incorrectly, it's not going to go in. So notch to hole, rotate it 45 degrees, and got a very powerful spring that's going to kick that shackle right out of there. So pretty cool, as long as you can remember how to keep your key oriented. Don't try to do it in the dark. Might be a little awkward. All right, I get a lot of questions about how do I know which side of the shackle is the locked side. So if I want to, say, shim it, well, you saw that this side popped out, but a lot of times we don't have the key, but there are other visual clues. First of all, there's this rubber rain guard, this little gasket designed to keep water from going down inside the lock. Now, on this side, there's a spring that will rust if water gets on it, to throw the shackle out of there. So they want to keep the water away. They put this little rain guard on it to keep the water out of there. Another visual clue, if you look on the bottom, we've already seen the hole. That's a drain hole. So if water does infiltrate past that gasket, gets down there around the spring, there's a hole for the water to drain out so we don't rot that spring. So right away that ought to tell you, this is the side that pops out. So that's probably the side that has the locking pawl. So let's start there. I mean, got to start somewhere. It is a master lock, so plenty of gap there. So let's just take a shim, slide him in there, working back and forth, and we don't have an open. So this is probably one of the locks that not only has a locking pawl there, probably got one on that side too, but now we got this stupid rain guard. But take your thumbnail, it's just like an O-ring. Just shove them up out of your way, grab another shim, and then when you look, you'll notice when I put that shim in, it collapsed the gap. So there is a gap over here kind of on the side, on the rear. So take your shim, slide it into what gap you have, and then roll them around, and it'll eventually work its way in there. Pop it open, and there you go. Model 1923, not such a big deal, but this isn't about shimming. This is about picking. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, let me find a tensioner, let me find a pick, and let's see if we can't single pin pick this guy. All right, let's take a crack at SPPing this thing. I'm going to use my thick tension wrench, 1.2 millimeter, and I'm putting the bottom of that cross right there. Perfect fit. And I'll be using this guy. This is the Attila from Sparrows. All right, think of this as 4 number 3s stacked around in a circle here. So you may not be able to pick all 4 pins on any one side. You're going to have to alternate. You might find a binder here, and then the next binder might be there, then that one. So you just kind of rotate around looking for binders and just pick them when you find them. Nothing there. That was pin 2. That was pin 1. Go down the bottom. That was pin 4. Let's check the right side. Okay, that was pin 4. That was pin 2. I think that was pin 4. The hard part is maintaining the tension. It's the same as you rotate around. Just be patient. There are 16 pins to deal with, so it's going to take 4 times as long as the number 3. But this is the slowest possible way to pick these, and I'll show you some faster ways. But I had to do this because if I didn't, you guys would say, hey, you just showed us the easy way. How come you didn't do it? You can't, can you? And I'm all about easy and taking the fast way, but sometimes you got to do it this way. All right, I'm out of binders here. I may have to force somebody or maybe I overset somebody in a minute. There we go. That was pin 2. Felt a very slight turn on the core there. Trying it up like that. See if that's any better. No. Where are you? All right, I might have overset somebody, so what I'm going to do is lighten my tension and then just drag, and there he is right there. First pin on the bottom. There we got an open. All right, as I said, that is absolutely the slowest way to get into these. Let me grab another pick and I'll show you some faster ways. All right, let's go ahead and use the same pick for this first one. Let's try to zip it open. I haven't done that in a long time, and it occurred to me after I turned the camera off, but let's try it. I'm going to apply light tension because zipping is a little bit different than SPP. We're not going to be forcing anything. I'm just going to slide the pick in, apply very light tension, and then I'm just going to drag that pick, make that zipping sound. I give it 2 per side. And a lot of times on these cross locks, this is a really effective technique. And that's a lot faster than SPP, but you know what? There's an even faster way. All right, I saved this last technique for last because it's almost as fast as using a key. We're going to rake this lock open. So I'm going to take the same tensioner, place it in the base of that cross right there. Thank you very much, Master Lock, because this made my job so much easier. I've chosen this rake. This is a Sparrow's Worm. And the reason I chose it is because it's a really short profile. When I insert it into the keyway, I can rake one bank, and then without taking the pick out, I can actually rotate it and pick another bank. And I can just rotate around without ever having to take my pick out. So what a great time saver. So let's give it a shot. Take my pick, insert it, moderate tension, and let's just start. Give it a couple of rakes, and then rotate from bank to bank. And there we go. How quick is that? What a great tool. What a crappy lock. Anyway, guys, there you go. The Master Lock 1923. Not the ideal lock for security, but it's okay for training if you can find one. Appreciate your time, guys. Stay safe. Stay legal. MF, thank you, sir, for sending this thing in. Thanks, guys. Each of these videos takes 4 to 6 hours to record, edit, and publish, so I'd really appreciate it if you show your support by subscribing and clicking on the like button. Thanks, guys.